Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie Graham's Sewpreneur. I am a memory bear and sentimental business owner and published author and instructor. Be sure to go to stephaniegrahams.com or sewpreneur.com. Alright, I am showing you the baby clothing quilt that I will be making, and the customer and I labeled these bags. These are the gallon-sized Ziploc bags, and we used a permanent marker on the top. And if you zoom in and look, some of them say it says quilt and dash, and it says use as needed. Some say keep entire piece or keep whole. And so the customer and I got together and we bagged all of the baby clothes that she wanted for her 12-month baby quilt. And so the clothes that she picked, this quilt is for the first 12 months of her son's life. It will have full pieces, the entire outfit will be sewn to the quilt. And some of the outfits had decorative backs, and so you'll see later in the video how I did cut one shirt in half. That way the back of the shirt and the front of the shirt would be together on this quilt instead of being hidden. There's hats, socks, there's one bib, and then most of them are onesies, and there's several sleepers with little cute feet to the sleepers, so we will be definitely incorporating that. You can see I trimmed some of these excessively long and bulky tags. They were not needed for this project. If your customer wants those included, I'm sure you could just sew those on anywhere you wanted. Definitely ask your customer what they want their quilt to include. Now, this video, I'm just prepping the clothes. I'm going through each bag. The bags that say use as needed, those were put into a box off camera to the left of me. And all of these bags that you see now, these are the clothes where the customer wants the entire outfit to be used. So what you'll need to do with however your customer wants, again, this is what my customer wanted, you will want to keep your baggies and put the clothes in there. So as you can see, right here is a rather large blanket that the parent laid on the floor, and every month the mom would take a picture of her son on that particular 1 month anniversary. So when he was 1 month old, she would lay him on this blanket. Well, this blanket's not going to be cut. I'm keeping this blanket as is, whole. I am going to use some interfacing on the back to make it a little bit more stable, and then that's going to go on the back of this quilt. I might have to add some different fabric around the corners just to make it larger, but I'll show that in another video. So this is just prepping your blanket. So go through the clothes. You will want to snap everything, button the buttons, snap the snaps, zip the zippers, make sure they lay out nicely. This is the time to really pay attention to the front and the back of all of the articles of clothing. If you, like this shirt, has a cute decoration in the front and the back, then I'm going to show you how I am going to cut that. That way it does not compromise the shape of the shirt. Because remember, this is not a typical baby quilt or a baby clothing quilt. This is a quilt with the baby clothes actually sewn to the quilt. That way it's one large piece of clothing. And I will probably play some music in and out of this video. Hopefully it doesn't get any copyright strikes. It says it's free, but we'll see how YouTube handles it. Here I'm just going to follow the seam up through the shirt, under the armpit, and above the sleeve. Just take your time. There's no rush. Don't be in a hurry. It's really hard to fix something if you cut too much off. make sure that the back of the shirt is not laying flat as you cut the side seam, because you might cut through it and that would not be good at all. If you're new, welcome. If you are a returning watcher, please make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification, and also get on my free newsletter at sewpreneur.com. I only mail out usually twice a month. I don't really fill your inbox with spam and other things. Okay, and be sure to open your newsletter if you signed up for it, because I do include freebies that are helpful for the sewing memory business. Okay, as you can see, I'm going carefully up through the seam on this tiny little shirt. Now I'm going to lay the front and back out, and right there on the top of the shoulder you can see there's a folded seam. There's the seam with the fold, if I'm making any sense there. Just follow that natural fold across. And there I hesitated. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to cut this side first. And so I started at the seam. I wanted to make sure it was as straight as possible. So that's just a tip for you if that's what you are going to end up doing with any baby clothes. I wanted the front and the back to include the collar. I just think it's cute that way, and it makes more sense. That way when you look at the quilt, it will actually look like a shirt. So that's the back, and I'm going to interface each of these pieces. Now some of the bulkier pieces of clothing will not be interfaced because they won't need it, but this little shirt will need interfacing on both sides. I just fold them together because I'm not going to do any interfacing in this video. I just wanted to look through the pieces of clothing and give you an idea of what I'll be working with as I video and film this tutorial. This little onesie, all of the onesies will be sewn on as is. One thing I will be doing, you don't have to, but I will actually be ironing each piece of these articles of clothing, and I'm not going to film that part. You probably already know how to use an iron. I will use some spray starch just to get some of the stubborn wrinkles out, and I will also be prepping the squares for the clothes, and that will be filmed. So please be sure to like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications if this is something that you're interested in. Now those pants just had a back that was cute right there at the lion, so I am going to only include the lion side of these pants, and that will help keep down a lot of bulk. Just ask your customer if they don't mind, that's fine. Just always get the okay from them before you start cutting up the clothes. And again, I'm going to carefully follow the seam of the pant leg. I'm just stretching it a little bit so I can actually get through all of the wrinkles. Be sure not to cut when it's super wrinkled, because that'll give you like a jagged cut line, and they're very difficult to work with and hide. The other side of these pants that I'm not going to use, I did set those off to the side, because what I can do is cut some squares out of that and connect some squares of the clothing to make larger quilt blocks as needed for this quilt. Showing you how I cut these pants apart. Again, find out if your customer wants you to do that, but it does cut down on a lot of the bulk that's not necessary. So I just went ahead and followed the seam across the inner part of the pants. Make sure that you follow the correct seam when you're cutting these pants. Otherwise, you're going to have the wrong type of shape on your quilt. So once I get done following the seam, I just put them back into the baggie. The back of the pants that are plain went with the other bags of as needed, and then the cute part right here, the decorative part of the pants, will be used in the quilt. And so I'm just showing you, you can lay it out. I'll show you how I sew these onto the quilt in another video. Like I said several times, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you can follow along every time I upload a video. Here I am, I'm just going through another bag, and feel free to watch the video if you want to. These are full onesies, I believe, with the cute little feet that we will be incorporating. I'm not cutting anything off of any of these onesies, and they're too cute. So they will be ironed. If I see a onesie or a sleeper, sorry, they're sleepers, footed sleepers. If they are too bulky, I might take a little bit off the back where it doesn't compromise the sleeper. And if they're too thin, I can add some interfacing. You can see that these are already zipped and buttoned. They're just staying like they are. I'm not going to do anything special to those. Once I zip or snap them, button them up, I look to see, is there a decorative back? Do I need to cut any in half so that the way, the decoration on the front and the decoration on the back both show? Now, these are all little boy clothes, but if you had an order with little girl clothes, there might be a cute ruffle bum on the back of something that the customer wants incorporated. That's when you would see if you could cut them in half so both sides show. So hopefully that makes sense. Like this little thing, little short jumper thing, this does not need interfacing at all. It's thick enough on its own. Like I said, I'm going to use some spray starch, and get all the wrinkles out so it lays nicely when I go to sew these. The other videos, I'm actually going to take you step by step on how I assemble this. I'm not going to do any of the ironing on camera because I think that if you're watching this, you already know how to iron using spray starch. If not, let me know in the comments below, and I will show you in a tutorial how to do that. And when it comes to using interfacing, I will probably go ahead and film that for you. All right, so we have some baby socks that the mom wants to include. I'm not cutting these. I think they're cute as is. They should lay flat enough on the quilt, and they're only one-sided, but these are kind of stretchy knit, and I don't want to compromise the fabric by cutting it in half. So those are going to stay whole as one piece, if that makes sense. As I go through these bags, keep in mind that some of these are outfits, and I want to put the entire outfit on the quilt together. Meaning I want, like, for instance, this little shirt has a bib that you saw earlier in the video. So I want to make sure that this outfit with the bib are close to each other on the quilt, instead of separated onto different quilt tops or quilt squares. This little footed one or sleeper, it's cute. It has a little monkey head with ears, and so I want those to be incorporated as well. So again, I'm not cutting these clothes into squares like a typical baby clothing quilt. This is a baby outfit quilt. So, and they're different. So some people might use them interchangeably, but when you go to place your order, whether it's with me at stephaniegrams.com or somebody else, you want to specify whether or not it's a clothing quilt or an outfit quilt. So the outfit quilt is exactly what we're making with this video, and a clothing quilt, that's when somebody chops up all the pieces of clothing and sews squares together. So definitely know what you want. This little onesie is adorable. It's stained and we're still going to use it. I think it'll be great for this quilt. Again, it doesn't matter if there's a stain because some stains have memories, and that's what this quilt is all about. In the video of series part 1, and the series would be considered Baby Outfit Quilt 101. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for joining me. Stephanie Grams. Have a great day.